Hello. Whoa, lads, we are in it now. We are just past the halfway mark and shit is already going down. We haven't even had a firework injury yet. I'm scared. Okay, for this episode, I am shaking things up a little bit. Instead of telling you who I'm gonna be talking about right at the start, I'm gonna be ranking people, specifically duos, because this episode had interesting duos. So we're gonna start from the worst to the best. So of course, we are starting with Langdon and Santos. Sandon, as I will be referring to them from now on, hate each other, and it is personal. In season 1, these two just did not click. Santos was maybe a little too arrogant, and Langdon was a little bit too on drugs. That's a joke. He probably would have been an asshole of his own volition. So Sandon for the first half of the season really have been avoiding each other, but it seems like Langdon has decided that his next target in his apology circuit is Santos. I'm gonna take a wild guess and say that this has been spurred on by his exchange with Robbie last episode not quite going the way he expected. So we see him in this episode trying to open up some conversation with Santos, offering up advice and compliments. The compliment one was particularly funny because he praises her for doing this trigger point injection, but last season one of the first things he absolutely flamed her for was doing a trigger point injection, unsupervised. Now granted, Santos is now a second-year resident, so of course there's going to be a little bit more trust there, but this is definitely a callback from the writers and potentially an unsaid apology from Langdon, assuming that they both remember the incident. Then Santos, in what seems like a rebuttal, also calls back to something that Langdon said in season 1.
Why would I want to do that?
I don't know, 'cause it's fun.
So obviously there's still some bad blood remaining between the two of them, but let's be clear, if it wasn't for this complex history behind them, I think that these two would get on like a house on fire. I mean, they're two hotshot hot doctors whose chemistry is amazing, if a bit aggressive. So these two are getting a 2 out of 10 duo rating and are number 3 on the board. There's a lot of work, but a lot of potential. Next up is Mel and someone else. So Mel's been quite an isolated story. This whole season it's basically just been like, hey Mel, how are you doing? I'm gonna be down here for Mel. Oh, well, you know, I'm a bit stressed with the whole deposition and all. Hey, don't be stressed. Oh, yep, cool. So we know that Mel's been having a bad time. She's struggling to focus on her work with the impending deposition, her sister called and says that she has a bad stomachache, and generally no one seems to know how to help her. We have a couple of scenes where Robbie and Dana try to help, but there's not really any time for her to explain why exactly she's so nervous, so they can't really do anything. Then on the worst side of things, I'm starting to feel like there might be a couple of people who maybe don't really like Mel, specifically Al-Hashimi and Mohan.
What? No, all right. I know that sounds bad.
Now hear me out. Mohan, as we know, is a very empathetic and thoughtful doctor. She worries most about her patients and how they're feeling and how that might impact their ongoing care. Mel doesn't quite specialise in that method. She has a tendency to speak a lot more straightforward and can fumble the more casual conversations. And in this episode specifically, there seems to be a moment where Mohan notices this and has kind of a problem with it.
Oh my god.
Now, this might just be a hidden eye roll, but I do think it's important to talk about it and bring it up because Mohan's the only one I've ever really seen do this. Most reactions to Mel tend to be a little more upfront. Now, with Al-Hashimi, this is a little subtler and might be wrong, but I feel like she's treating Mel quite young? New? There's a couple of moments in this season that could definitely be taken like this. In episode 5, Mel has a bit of a reaction to being asked questions by Al-Hashimi. I didn't bring it up at the time because it seemed like such a small moment and can definitely be brushed off as her thinking about her impending doom. But is it that she's maybe a bit confused because she's not used to being asked these questions, especially when there's younger doctors in the house with them? And then in this episode, Al-Hashimi gets Mel to stay behind and monitor a patient when she does say she really would rather not do that. Maybe I'm being hyper defensive of Mel because, now say it with me, I love her. But at best, this seems like another case of a doctor not knowing how to help Mel exactly. AKA, she doesn't need an hour sitting in the quiet alone with her thoughts right now. She needs to be busy. And at worst, maybe this could be Al-Hashimi infantilizing Mel. I don't think it's a secret at this point that Mel is either autistic or has ADHD or something. It's basically confirmed by the actor and the writers, and people who fall into this category often find themselves being treated like they're slow or that they need special accommodations. And yes, obviously these can help with a lot of people, but doing it without talking to the person can often lead to just treating them like a literal handicap, rather than helping them achieve their goals and do better in their career. And we know that Al-Hashimi knows Mel from the VA, so I wouldn't be surprised if this is something that Al-Hashimi has done before and maybe hasn't been caught. Again, if it's happening, this definitely is like a reach. The thing is, last season, people treated Mel so well. Not that she, again, needs the special treatment, but no one ever brought it up or was a dick to her about, obviously being different from everyone else. So part of me is kind of waiting for the other ball to drop. I don't know. It just feels like something that they would cover, work people being dicks. Not that Mohan's a dick. I think she just doesn't like Mel that much. And that's fine. People can have their own opinions. They can be wrong, but they can have them, So I'm thinking that Mel definitely needs someone in her corner, especially if this thing with Al-Hashimi turns out to be true. The obvious choice would be Langdon. They're friends, he knows how to help her when she's feeling overwhelmed, and he's probably looking for someone in his corner too. So why not? Well, first of all, he's a man, I don't trust him. Plus, like I said in a previous episode, he's got a lot going on, and that's probably going to get worse when Robbie leaves to go on his sabbatical, and it's going to get doubly worse if he never comes back. So, who in this ER do I think could help out with Mel? Who indeed? Who just sort of meshes with her? And who do I think it would be fun to see more of? Oh my god, Dr. Ellis! Where did you come from? You cannot convince me that she is not the perfect partner for Mel. And I mean that in every sense of the word. The way she's able to tell Mel exactly what she needs to hear, sits her down and is like, hey, here's what's gonna happen in the deposition. You are not in the wrong. Fucking labeled it out and just like, this is what's happening, okay? And that's all while respecting Mel's wishes to not break the rules about discussing the deposition. That's what really got me on this train. With Ellis's whole vibe, I really thought she was just gonna barrel through Mel's protest and be like, shut the fuck up, we're discussing the case. Which would just make her more uncomfortable, but for completely different reasons. Instead, she threads that needle and assures Mel that they're not breaking any rules, but still making sure that she has all the information she needs for the courtroom. I don't know if it's a courtroom. I don't care. Ask Legal. And that is my case. Mel and Ellis should be... Oh my god, Mellis! Mellis should be the next big fucking duo. Get Mel on night shift. Better yet, get Ellis on day shift. I want to see my wife more. I give these two a 6 out of 10. Purely for potential alone, and they get second place on the board. I have no room on the board. Which leaves me with the last and number one duo for this episode. And potentially the full show. Is it Santos and Whitaker? No, Whitaker has not given me enough for me to fully be invested in their friendship. I'm sorry. Show me fun roommate moments and then they can get a place on the board. Is it Perla and Princess? Also no. Unfortunately, they had to be disqualified because the power of their duo-ness alone would blow everyone out of the water and I wouldn't be able to talk about anything else for 3 straight weeks. Is it Robbie and... Robbie didn't make this list. No. Coming out in front, surprising fucking everybody, is Javadi and Ogilvy. Let's cast our minds back way into the beginnings of season 1 and remind ourselves with just how much these two hated each other. Their rivalry was unmatched. And you know why? It's because it wasn't personal, it was business. Lord business. And guys, I've been saying this from the beginning. He is the worst. I've been the leader. Fucking suck up. Of the let's give Ogilvy another chance, just in case. Maybe he's got some room to grow train, but as soon as he gets his hands dirty, he fucks it up. I have been waving that flag proudly. The only thing he's been successful at is pissing me off. Okay, all jokes aside, as much as I have been trashing that urinal of a man, I did kind of predict that this would happen way back in episode 2. Play the clip. I feel like there's a good chance that this rivalry with Ogilvy might go out of control, but maybe this will result in something sweeter. God, it feels good to actually have predicted something right. Because yes, the Javadi and Ogilvy team-up has finally happened, and it is better than anyone expected. Not because they bounce off each other so well.
Autoimmune severe pruritus.
Yeah, but not as deadly as pemphigus vulgaris. Untreated, the death rate is over 90%.
We need to check for pustules, mucous membrane involvement,
And the Nikolsky sign.
Not because they look like Ojo and Tutter from Bear in the Big Blue House. No. They've taken #1 spot because of how much they display each other's shared weakness. They're fucking nerds. They're losers and they're nerds. Is this me being hypocritical? No, I'm a party animal. Ignore how much time I've spent talking about American medical shows. This one simple moment really slaps them in the face with the parts of being a doctor that they are not experts at. Just understanding the everyday patient. There's other things as well that make them a great duo. Other parts of themselves that fill in gaps the other has. Ogilvy doesn't know how to shut the fuck up about a patient's weight, and Javadi changed a transgender patient's information in the system to be correct without even needing to ask. One is woke, one is not. And then Javadi is quite emotional being around the dying woman, and we know that Ogilvy doesn't give enough of a shit to care. They're a perfect team! So to #1 spot they go, with a 9 out of 10, because there's always room for improvement. Looking back on it, I really had a lot more to say about Mel than I thought I did, but like, good. She deserves all of the love and attention. I don't even know if this is really a show for duos. I just love it when there's a set of people you can rely on being great together. Which is why I loved seeing Javadi and Ogilvy so much, because they were great as enemies. They're even better as teammates, I guess, maybe not friends just yet. And if this is the last we see of them, like, together, I'm gonna be pissed. Oh my god, invite him to the birthday party. It's just Javadi and Ogilvy getting fucked up and everyone else is like, we have work. I want an after credits scene of the birthday party so bad. It's not funny. But I've chatted enough about duos. A shit ton of other stuff happened in this episode, and it's time to talk about it. It's my favorite part of the video. I don't care if it's not yours. I don't care about your opinions. It's my video. Fuck you. So my other headphones broke. They're acting up. So now I'm wearing my nice headphones, which I'm gonna be honest, I don't know why I wasn't doing this the whole time. They're chunky, I guess. But now you don't get that annoying sound. Wow, I'm so good at this, guys. So Joy has a photographic memory and is very quickly making her way up my list of favorite characters. Watch yourself, Whittaker. Al-Hashimi is willing and ready to do some less than standard practice when treating the half-blind lady. You know, she's also getting up there. Just stop promoting that AI fucking bullshit, please. For me. McKay gives Langdon a nice little sober bonding talk, which is good that the writers didn't forget that aspect of her character. I haven't talked a lot about McKay in these episodes, and I think the issue is that most of the stuff happening with her is with this dying cancer patient, which is not in my wheelhouse. She is doing stuff, the writers are doing stuff with her, but it's like, it's good stuff, she's doing great, but like, it's not my, I can't talk about it, like, it's not that it's not interesting, it's not that interesting. Writing-wise, it's not interesting writing-wise. I mean, it is, I don't know, just leave me alone. Abbott says the most out-of-pocket line.
I'm gonna start with my pinky, slowly over a few minutes, I'm gonna go deeper, all the way to the back of my knuckle.
Sean Hattie, I know you know what you're doing, you fucking freak. Good news, Mohan doesn't actually have to go to New Jersey. She just has to find somewhere new to work, which could be the Pitt. Please. Al-Hashimi is actually trained in cyber attacks, but still wants Robbie to lead the charge when looking after the hospital. Listen, I get it, but like, you can't just shirk off the responsibility like that. I felt so bad for Robbie in that moment. Like, yeah, she's so great at cyber attacks, and she's the one who got told about it. But no, Robbie, you lead it because it's your ER, but also it's the last day before your holiday. Fucking let the man live, okay? Let him live. Whittaker is actually doing pretty well with the physical charting so far, where Santos and Javadi are not. Personally, I feel like this wet cat of a character that we had in the last season is having too much good stuff, okay? We need to fucking shame him a little bit, bring him back down to earth, stop letting him thrive in every situation. He's at his best when he's covered in liquids. Dana was texting someone and hasn't received a message back. This was truly just me snooping in on her phone situation and this tiny little frame. But knowing this show, it really could mean something devastating in the future, so I'm keeping an eye on it. Mohan's research from last season got cut by the White House, so we're getting political. Whittaker is low-key into that throat shit, by the way. That face? Don't be making that face in your workplace. Calm down. Dana said the words, "I'm glad I was in today." So that's good. Was it to a patient? Yes. Would it have been shitty if she said anything else? Yes. But she said the words, so I'm counting it as a win.
A win is a win. A win is a win.
Joy showed that she was listening to Donnie's suturing lessons. We love an active listener. Al-Hashimi suggests to Mohan that she goes into geriatrics. I don't know how Mohan feels about this. She has this face of like, I never thought about that before. But, last season she was so intent on being in the ER, but now she's thinking about other things. I don't know what Mohan's deal is, to be honest. Robbie has a talk with Javadi and McKay about treating pain over anything else, even if this leads to death, which does feel like a bit of a callback to him bringing the beer to Louis back in a few episodes ago. Okay, and now for our Michael moments, TM. We only have a couple. Robbie slaps Abbott's injured shoulder. It's not that big of a deal. I don't know if he even knows about it, but it is kind of funny, and I'm counting it as a Michael moment because, brother, that's your brother, as you've said. Don't fucking shoulder check him in the injury. Leave him alone! He's also fully just letting shit happen in the ER without really caring. It's his last day. He doesn't want to deal with all this shit. And I get it. We've all had that day at work where you're about to just leave and you don't give a shit. But Robbie, this is a hospital. People are dying. Please, maybe find it in yourself to care a little bit more. As a bonus point, Robbie was very good with the overweight patient, which I know is the lowest possible bar, but with Robbie's recent attitude, combined with Ogilvy's fucking comments...
What's our CT can only handle 450 pounds.
And so if he's over that, we send him to the zoo?
I'm happy to just let him have this and give him a little reward for doing something half decent. All right, gang, we are in the thick of it now. This is the end of the episode, by the way. I hope we're all excited for a competition of who can piss off Dana the most by doing incorrect charting. Woo! Episode 9 will be out on Tuesday, so make sure you subscribe if you want to see me pop up in your subscriber list thingy, if anyone else still actually uses that. Okay, goodbye.